Hi everybody, welcome back. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it. So anyway, I decided to start off after my first surgery, and that's when it became more than electronic harassment, and that was around 2013 time frame. And so it all started off with just heavy bleeding, endometriosis, and a lot of cysts. So they removed all of those, thinking like quality of life would get better. But after I got out the surgery, the woman that pretty much was a mother figure in my life changed her behavior. You know, she was extremely excited, cautious, and just standing by for something. And I was just like, what is it, you know? But nobody said anything. It felt like I had CPR. My chest was all bruised up, but it could also be from the gas that they pump you up with for robotics. So either way, the only thing I could think of was they placed a VNS in me, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't ever think I will get the chance to even find out what the fuck happened to me, you know. But either way, maybe you guys will, and then fight the system that we're living in. So the first thing they messed with, one of, is my eyes. And what people have to understand is it feels like somebody has you under remote control. It's like that toy car, you know, you make movements just by the joystick or whatever button. And that's what it actually feels and is probably is, which is really disturbing. Because these people could move your eyes anywhere, make you turn your head. But that's advanced. So it was slow memory loss, just personal life, like a lot of good experiences, a lot of awesome stories that I've that I've read, books, math skills, my vocabulary, my speech, that has been honestly basically tarnished. My speech has improved a little since about 2015. Yeah, since 2016 actually. It has improved. And then brain function, there'll be like a strain in your mind where you can't think, you can't talk, you just can't function except stress out. Like, come on, think, and that's all you could think about is trying to think, you know. So I used to just count to like 25, and that's after the escalation. And then my bladder, my urine, it's they could relax the muscles in your body so you could leak at any time. Incontinence, you know. And I knew it was odd because of the timings that it would happen. And then there's the sadness that wasn't mine. Even though I did have sadness, the doctors that would come and test me as well. These are people that rarely talked to me, barely said hi. There were a few doctors I'd say hi to, and they'd respond or, you know, go on our way. Very professional or polite. Some I'd have conversations with, but around that time is when I slowed down because they were changing drastically. Their behaviors is when I say changing. By that time, I knew they were listening to my phone conversations. That's also another reason I tested everything the same fucking way, and then they passed the same fucking test of guilty, you know. So I stopped talking to see if they were in my thoughts, and they were. And these doctors, especially one that never even acknowledged my presence, would be right there, just standing in front of me, like waiting for me to. It's like she was forced to go there, though. That's the strange part about her behavior. It's like they like pushed her to do it, or it was just sick. And I felt sad for a lot of them. But at the same time, I was like, okay, get over it. I had my own shit. They were in a better place as I was struggling, so they'll be all right, And so they started messing with my circulation. Like my left 2 feet by the end of 2015 were purple. My fingers, my everything, they would go numb. My menstrual, it'd be heavy bleeding. This is around 2013. The nausea, constant nausea. It also mimicked fibromyalgia, where every part of your body is so painful. You can't move, it hurts, but you still have no choice but to get over the pain because you got to provide for your kid, And that was for me. And then that's also when I went outside, the wind, it became audible. And I know my ears stick out and I'm funny looking, but my ears would pick up the wind sound, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it was like, it's like you're blowing on a microphone, And that's what it actually was. But this little fucking microphone that they had in me was more than a microphone. And then usually what I thought about was music. I'd replay music in my head all day. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And it's just me being me. And I change up the words to make it my own, being stupid. But it was fun. And so around 2014, I had to get another surgery. And that was again for my heavy bleeding. Only reason I'd go to the doctor is like if I'm bleeding out. Because they never listened to anything I've went for, And just like the surgery, I went through like so many fucking doctors just for one to hear me out. And I even got the diagnosis of, oh, you're just constipated. And I'm explaining, like, this feels like a miscarriage or some skeleton scratching up your insides trying to get out, And she's like, oh, it's just the constipation. And it's like, all right, whatever. I know I don't have a fucking degree, and I just got a high school education, barely, because I just read through most of the classes. And I know the difference between constipation and ovarian cysts, But hey. And then they also stereotype me as a pill seeker, and that's how they see a lot of us black people. That's the sick part. So I started telling them I'm not looking for pain meds. I don't want pain meds. But it did make me stronger with putting up with pain. So one good thing did come out of that. I've always been strong, but way stronger now. So for 2014, had to get the surgery again. I requested a hysterectomy because I knew what they were doing, and they were doing shit to me. So it's like, I don't want to come back to the doctors, take it out, And she was like, no, this will be good for 10 years, And so I had no choice, but I needed to stop. So I went in, did that, and then started bleeding like a motherfucker all over again around August time frame. And by this time, their control was stronger, and then it was slowly becoming mind to mind. And that's the odd part. And where I thought it was people talking. Like, I went out of town My cousin, it felt like she was under a guilt trip. It was like her goodbye, you know, like enjoy your time with your child because you're about to be dead. Uh, it's sick that I'm laughing about it, but it's as real as it is. It's crazy. But either way, we went out of town, came back, and then shit just escalated, and people would listen to my conversations and mixed with my thoughts. I couldn't figure it out because she approached me and said, why did you tell so-and-so about me getting this type of car? Somebody found out and approached me about it, you know, some bullshit. And I was like, oh my God. And I was thinking back to my conversation and said, I never verbalized it. And I went back to that person. I said, did I say anything? She's like, no. And they were in my thoughts, you know. And this is my fucking family. That's what's sick about it. This is my blood. And this woman, I mean, we've been through hell together. She saw me through hell. I saw her through hell. And I'm like, damn. And all this time I was thinking, like, how much did they pay her to do this, you know? And that's the sickest shit. But oh well. And it just escalated, and it was just my thoughts. And so I'd think of like stupid, dumb shit, and she'd come and approach me with it. And I was like, and testing me, and then always having her phone to record me and my voice. So a lot of people that did that to me, to test them, I'd mention something very personal about them, and they'd stop. She'd actually get pissed off and storm off. You know, we were roommates at the time, and she'd storm off to the room. And same behaviors with my mother, and I knew they were talking about it before. Even my mother, I tried to help her ass out, but I couldn't fucking do it. For a lot of you that do put up with it, good on you. But I won't. And so everybody was pushing me to anger, and I felt their anger, but these bitches were trying to drive me crazy, so I just left it alone, you know. And 2014 August, went to the bar. Work was frustrating, you know, same fucking problems. I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna get a solution so I don't have to put up with shit, you know. I already have enough shit. And they were adding more work to me. I mean, my supervisor was honestly a lazy bitch. All she did was socialize the whole day, you know, worked for like the first hour and then socialized. And she added more work to me that didn't even fit the job description, but I knew it was a push out, but I still had a child to support. That's the sickest fucking part, what we put up with just to survive. And yes, I did look for other jobs, and the creepy part was my coworkers, but especially one female neurosurgeon that I respected, and one old school, like, creepy doctor female that would walk by and imitate the events of my interview and laugh at me as they're walking by, you know, and like a high school giggle. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are ignorant bitches, you know. But that's like money, and I'm like this poor bitch having to put up with rich bitch attitudes. But that nasty doctor, though, would, like, sit and then make me come chase her. I mean, leg was, like, spread eagle like a man. All she was missing was, like, the cigar out of her mouth. Just, oh, sick. But either way, the first thing they messed with is my eyes. I had beautiful eyes. And they started... on the side of my eyes, you'll see a dark line. And they started drooping my eyes. And my eyelids are drooping. And then and my eyes got smaller, which was I was like, what the fuck are they doing, you know? And you can't go to these doctors that are doing this to you. So it just lets you know how honestly helpless you are. And it's not like a Underground Railroad where you know and could talk to somebody going through the same shit, because we're not identified by our skin color anymore. And so you basically have nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and no one to help you. Even your blood is against you for whatever bullshit that they were fed into. And then you're just like, man, it's just, I'm surrounded by a bunch of bitches, you know? So I had to get the surgery, and then the doctor seemed knowing of what was going on, and I kept asking her, is there something missing, you know? And my hospital records, they didn't have shit to show for them. And then after my surgery 2014, it was just sick, which was November 2014, and then 2015 came along, went to the bar, saw this guy. We were just talking because some dumbass had a shirt that says kill the cunt, you know. It's comical. Sorry to call that person a dumbass, which I don't even know. It was a dumbass shirt, there you go. And I was like, why would you want to kill the cunt? Wouldn't you want to treat her right and love it? You know, I was being ignorant. And so me and this older dude, we were like the very few older people there. And we were just talking about it. I met a few good people there too. Met some vets. And then so I could talk shit, because they're the best shit talkers there are. And then this guy, though, I don't even know if he roofied my shit or if it's this mind control thing, which I think it's this mind control to make it seem like it was roofied. But I went, and it's just the way, like, somebody could flip a switch on and off. I was gonna go home, and he's like, hey, let's go get something to eat. And I was like, cool. And then we go to Taco Bell. And then I was fine the whole time. And then he drove me back to my car. And I was like, it's like a hypnosis, but it was just like robotic as well, where you're just like on a shutdown, of emotional shutdown, where you're just like completely depressed and sad. And ended up going to his place, which was another strange thing, and had sex, which is another strange thing, because he wasn't my type at all. It was good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't me, is all I can say. And it's hard to explain. And then after that, it's like it seemed like everybody knew, you know. And all I could do was think of ways to make him spit it out. My cousin knew, because she was acting funny as hell and mentioning certain things like she always does. And so I finally told her to see. And he'd send me text messages, and it was just strange text messages like, I want to fuck your throat or some shit. And I'll be like, oh, sorry, I got like a really bad gag reflex, can't do that, you know. Yes, and I can be pretty vulgar. Don't seem like it, but people aren't what they seem. So, and then that's what the conversation started, and a lot that I explained. But during that time also is when they were messing with my body, and it escalated to the point where you had no peace of mind. Sorry about that. The choppers around here. And so by this time I had moved up to a clinic, where before I was in the emergency department. And so in this clinic, though, that's where the dumb supervisor was. just to back it up, also, a lot of the coworkers knew, especially the director. Like, my director stopped coming around me. And then when I was leaving, she'd always, she started avoiding eye contact and turn her head all the way. And it was kind of like she was avoiding my eyes, you know, because she basically probably knew that I was recording her. And these are the things that I saw that made me aware that they were in my eyes, you know. And but I thought it was only when I was like within the range of the workplace, not at home where I'm with my child, you know. And that's what's the sickest part is I do believe they did this to my kid. I'm not sure when, where, and how, without my consent. And we all think, oh my God, this is illegal. Yeah, the majority of the shit they do to people is illegal, but they still do it. So they were torturing me from the inside out. My kidneys started, I drink a lot of water, but my urine would be dark. The fibromyalgia, but by this time it escalated to where it mimicked everything of Parkinson's, you know. And that's what's scary, is what this little machine inside of you could actually do to your body. You know, those little microchips, make them into a wallet. Yeah, are you that fucking lazy? But they're in your fucking thoughts with this little chip. That's the sickest thing, where people allow this to happen. And then a lot of these companies don't let you know what else that equipment can do. And they're not at all forthcoming, or do they want you to know, because they're just with the circulation of your blood, that's all they need to transmit your thoughts. They don't even have to be in you anymore, you know. They have shit that could pick up your thoughts as you go. That's how advanced and how neglected our regulations are. So advanced of technology and neglect of regulations. And so anyway, they fucked with my liver. I've had like 3 miniature heart attacks. None of this I went to the doctors for obvious reasons. They were the ones doing it. And plus I thought they were trying to make me look like a hypochondriac, or they wanted me to be on meds. And I noticed a lot of people around my workplace were going through the same shit, having miniature heart attacks, but I never talked about my personal shit. And also, I didn't believe in the way they treated heart attacks anymore, because they take you, instead of aspirin and change your diet, now they do like fucking surgeries, just automatic. You need it. No, you don't. You really don't. We become too dependent on this fucked up medical system. I need a surgery. No, we don't. But so, and then this thing could also mimic a stroke. I just stopped, and then I just listened to my body. Most of the time it feels like it's coming on back then. And even around 2016, some parts of 2017, feels it's like somebody would put something in my food. They were fucking with our food back then. And then I'd go, so I started doing takeouts. But you have to understand, most of baby's life is we never did takeouts. We didn't even go trick-or-treating for Halloween, you know. Pretty healthy lifestyle. But with this and them adding shit to your food, it seems like the only safest place was takeouts. And that's what we did. We had to eat, you know. And then after that, it was like, if I buy groceries, it has to be cooked now. Can't wait. It still somewhat is the same way. because I have somebody just waiting for me to leave in and out. I don't even worry about it if I'm getting poisoned now. It's like, okay. Even though I try, like, I do my best, but fuck. With the shit that they do to me in my head and seizing it, it's sick. There's not much I can do. And so with the takeouts, they caught on, and they started fucking with the takeouts, and that was 2015. The time frame I'm talking about is from September to December. Within that short amount of time. Also, 2013, when I knew something was wrong, is they blew up my stomach. And there were a few people that knew. A lot of Habashas, you know, that worked at UW. They knew something wasn't right. And we all knew, but we just couldn't figure the shit out, you know. And our stomachs, especially the females, our stomachs would just bloat out of fucking nowhere. And it's not due to menstrual. It's the water we drank or the wine or any liquid that you have. They'd put it in you and they'd redistribute it through your body. And they still do that to this day. And what scrub pants I was wearing during that time, it was a medium, you know, and I had a baggy. It was nice, and all of a sudden I blowed up and I can't fit, and then my legs are fucking muscle, and my legs started holding liquid, you know, and I was like, what the fuck, and it's not my body. Of course my stomach is loose because I've had a child, you know, the skin around it, so they could stretch it, and they sure the fuck did. In 2016 they blew that shit up. Still to this day, you know, it'll give you that pregnant woman look so nobody fucks with you. But whoever was in me was envious, is all I could think of. I'm not that bad I wasn't that bad looking. I was actually beautiful and inside out. But these motherfuckers probably didn't realize that the inside is what made the outside shine, you know? And so they started with acne, which I'm not stuck on my looks, so which was helpful. They gave you skin problems, and then I noticed it because a lot of the women that worked there, black Habasha, they were going through the same fucking shit, and I saw the changes in them, and then I had them in me. And then one that I fucking love, she used to tell me, what do I do, you know, my skin, she's like, something isn't right, you know. And what's fucked up is her doctor works at the same place. But you can't blame the doctors, because it's probably somebody else just fucking around, hating for the beautiful people that we are, you know. And for all you hating racist motherfuckers that keep talking shit about black women, fuck you. You ain't that good looking, so that's just you, you know. Take the mirror down so you can feel better about yourself. Offer people more than the ugliness that you possess. And so these people, what they did with my uterus was pretty sick. The lining would shed, and so it would be the plug for my vagina, and it would the blood would accumulate. So the minute I got up or walked, all would come at the same time, and it would just, I mean, it flooded, and I bled, close to anemia. So it's, what this can do is just ridiculous. And then after that was the sexual arousal. It seems like sexual arousal, but it really isn't. It's people who make you happy. You'd get aroused. If I was a guy, I'd have a boner when I saw somebody that made me happy. Or that's the one thing that I honestly did figure out, and to realize that it wasn't me. And I do wonder if they voluntarily did this to themselves, because you have to be a fucking idiot. So happiness is what causes arousal. And I never got aroused, except my child made me happy. And so and then it's sick, because your panties start creaming, and it's like, And then so I distance myself, like, okay, so testing it out, and I love my fucking niece, and it's love and happiness, and I was like, okay, this is disturbing. And the only reason I figured that out is because of a few men. One being my supervisor was aroused and was trying to hide it, you know. And I was like, okay, this is strange, you know. But that was 2014 is when I figured out, like, when I saw it, figured it out, like, about a year later. Because it was connection to another supervisor I had down in the emergency department. And I'm like, this ain't right, you know. And then that's when all the directors were following me around too. So, and men were, it's not just men and women were being extremely flirtatious. And I wasn't interested in a relationship. I was just trying to get the fuck out of that place, you know, looking for ways to escape without being caught. But they were in my internet, they were in my head. Every fucking turn I had, it's like hitting a brick wall. And then hold on. All right, so with the figuring out the arousal, I was wondering also if when a person masturbated, if they were in me, because I had this urge to just have sex, which is strange. I'm only like sexually I respond with somebody that I'm with, you know, relationship, whatever, fuck buddy. I need that to be aroused, you know. I need the kiss or the touch, and there was nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, and that's also when I turned off the electricity too. I'm like, see if it helped, and it did at first, but it just got really fucking bad, and it was like all the time. Like it was frustrating because I didn't want to masturbate, but then it's like you're forced to masturbate because you think that you'd get a relief, and you do at first, but then it's like after that it was just like you just want to fuck everything in sight. So it's kind of like Louis C.K. jacking off. Is you can't control that shit. That's how much control they have. And it makes that person look like a dirty pervert, you know. If well, of course they were looking in, but then the person that was looking in probably knew what they were doing, maybe. And then it's like I had like a few people in me, because that's, if you check the time, like that's when shit changes. So it's like shift change for them. And it depends who's attached that got aroused. And they did this to my daughter because her attitude changed. and she started doing like strange shit, like would look at me like in the shower or with excitement, as like, that's not my baby. That's And then still you have to handle with care because it's a fragile situation. And then I noticed with her also just sitting there and zoning out, like that's one of the first signs. Is they call it absent seizures, but it's not absent seizures. It's you just zone out because of this electronic harassment. And that's when I honestly thought I was gonna die. I have two best friends, sent them cards, none of them live here, which sucks, because people here are not easy to be friends with, moody as fuck too. So, but it explains with this shit. And the people that were going through the same thing couldn't even open their eyes to get the message I was trying to tell them, and that's the sad part. But anyway, I will continue next video with the escalation of January 1st, 2016. Take care.